Welcome to Fantastic Vision. Please subscribe us before you watch today's video. In terms of communication technology, the United States and the West, which owns established communication companies such as Qualcomm, Ericsson, and Nokia, have always been in the lead. Especially in the 1G to 4G era, they not only led the technology level, but also participated in the formulation of communications standards. Among them, Qualcomm is an American communications company, while Ericsson and Nokia are well-known European communications companies, and were once known as the Nordic duo. However, this situation has begun to change since entering the 5G era. Recently, industry insiders said that the construction of 5G networks in some European countries is not even as fast as that in the Middle East. Among them, Sweden, where Ericsson is located, ranks last in Europe. This has attracted widespread attention at home and abroad. In fact, the reason why this situation occurs is mainly because the Middle East is using Huawei's 5G technology and equipment to build local 5G networks. Although Europe has previously used Huawei's 4G equipment, building 5G networks on this basis is more effective and also it is more cost-effective, but it cannot stand the pressure from the United States and has repeatedly stated that it will dismantle Huawei and ZTE equipment. For European countries, banning Huawei equipment means dismantling the vast majority of 5G networks that have been built. Not only will reconstruction require a lot of capital expenditure, but it will also waste a lot of time. This is not good news for Huawei. After all, Huawei has always attached great importance to the European market and is preparing to build its first overseas factory in France. In 2020, Huawei plans to invest $1.6 billion to build its first overseas factory in France. Judging from Huawei's previous public information, this factory will mainly produce chipsets and motherboard components required for 4G and 5G base stations. It is expected to produce nearly 1 billion communication equipment and be able to supply the entire European market. However, this factory building plan had to be delayed due to obstruction by the United States. What people didn't expect was that recently, news came out that Huawei's first overseas factory has been officially confirmed to land in France, with an estimated total investment of 200 million euros, covers an area of more than 8 hectares, and is planned to be officially put into production by the end of 2025. The meaning behind this news is actually extraordinary. Allowing Huawei to produce 4G equipment and 5G equipment in Europe actually shows that Europe plans to use Huawei equipment. This indirectly shows that Europe already believes that Huawei's communication equipment is safe, and the US accusation that Huawei equipment has security risks has basically been exposed as a lie. Some foreign media said, the European market has begun to undergo a sudden change. The construction of 5G networks plays a very important role in promoting the development of related industries. Therefore, countries are accelerating the construction of 5G networks and are naturally unwilling to follow the United States' ideas. For example, Germany has publicly stated many times before that Huawei equipment does not pose any so-called security risks and will continue to be used. However, what people did not expect is that when Europe started using Huawei equipment, the United States began to use equipment and technology from Ericsson and Nokia. Recently, news broke that AT&T, the largest telecom operator in the United States, has placed a $14 billion order with Ericsson and Nokia, requiring Nokia and Ericsson to use RAN solutions. Some American experts directly stated that this move may cause the United States to fall further behind in 5G. In fact, the resumption of Huawei's plan to build a factory in France will be of great benefit to Huawei, France and even the EU. For France, this means an increase in jobs. For Huawei, this is an important step in expanding its influence in overseas markets. For the EU, it is more convenient to use Huawei's 5G equipment. It can be said to be a win-win cooperation. And it is precisely for this reason that France agreed to Huawei's factory building plan. Judging from various recent news, Europe has gradually begun to make its choice, which basically means that the United States' plan to prevent Huawei from expanding its influence in the international market has begun to fail. Not only that, the European Union has gradually become aware of Huawei's outstanding performance in communication technology, and even wants to involve Huawei in the development of 6G. It has to be said that in terms of communication technology, Huawei has developed very rapidly. In the 3G era, Huawei was not well known, and its technical level lagged far behind Ericsson and other manufacturers. However, it has caught up in the 4G era, and in the 5G era, and in the 6G era, we have maintained our technological leadership. In the field of 5G, Huawei has undoubtedly begun to lead far, not only occupying many domestic markets, but also shipping a large number of products to the European market. Recently, news has spread that Huawei's plan to build a factory in France will officially begin, with an investment of €200 million, and it is expected to be put into production by the end of 2025. This basically means that the EU has made a decision amid the swing of whether to use Huawei equipment. Some foreign media said, the European market has changed. This is actually good news for Huawei and the EU. After all, Huawei can expand its influence in overseas markets, and the EU can also accelerate the construction of domestic 5G networks. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel.